I truly believe that once I do come back and step into the octagon, the reason why the anticipation for people to watch me fight is going to be so great is because they had to wait so long for a great product to be seen again. The dude that beat Neil Magny, Amovsov,
Oh shit.
yeah.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay.
So yeah, so
Okay.
that
Yaroslav Amosov.
yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Like on the White House card, me and him, it'd be fun. I really think Morales, he like that, man. It's been too many videos, man. Too many things that's out there, bro. Like it's just, man, just live in your truth, bro. Just live in your truth, man. Ain't nobody gonna fight you about it. You know, you got a strong community behind you. It's gonna make you a bigger star. You know, and if you continue to go down this road, where you could be the first one, right? Well, Amanda was the first one, but the first male, you know what I'm saying, to become a world champion that be on that other side. So I ain't even mad at him. For me, I know that I'm not gonna watch another Jake Paul boxing fight. I'm not. I'm not. Right.
Go fight.
Um.
Do you think he should fight like a cruiserweight and shit like that at this point? Like stop with the
To me,
gimmicks.
period. I'm not
Try to
watching the
become a
box.
champion. Oh,
I'm
you're
not
just
watching.
done with it, period.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know what I
So it
mean?
left that bad of a taste in your mouth.
No Diddy, but yeah. If Chris Curtis, right, is around and Sean Strickland, is Sean Strickland just dropping the N word around Chris Curtis? Because I thought they was boys. I thought they was home. If you got respect for somebody that is a person of color that is so-called your friend, you know, I got a black friend, right? Type shit, right? Then you not gonna drop that word like that.
All right. So I'm joined once again by New Money, New Mansa, Joaquin Buckley. Welcome back, bro. How you been?
What's up, Jacob? Man, we good. You know, things is moving along. The news is already out there, man. I'm on Overdogs podcast with Mike Perry. And it's been good right now, you know, being able to just really express myself how I feel like I really need to express myself to the world, you know, and not being, I feel like what they called had to be filtered, you know, and really kind of give my authentic self. I feel like with being on a platform and give me a place where I can speak to other fighters, man, and really give my point of view on a lot of different things. I feel like I get to re-inform the fans on certain stuff. So it's pretty dope right now.
Okay, for sure. How's the relationship with Mike Perry been and all that? Because you
Oh
guys are
man,
two kind of like bold personalities. So
yeah,
how's it
yeah.
been?
Me and Mike been good, bro. Me and Mike being good. I truly believe that our personalities, man, being so, you know, strong. I believe that, you know, a lot of things that we joke about or a lot of things that we take serious, you know, we can really kind of bounce off of one another and not really, you know what I'm saying, feel intimidated by each other, whatever, and just be confident in what we say. And I truly believe that just the contrast of personalities, man, between me and him, I think it's just only the fans is gonna love it, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, with me and Mike Perry, you know, regardless of us, you know, being crazy athletes in the cage or in the ring, I believe us speaking our mind on the fight game is gonna be very entertaining to watch.
Got you. Who have you interviewed so far? You did one recently, right? Joe Pyfer or
Uh,
something?
yeah, can't get that news out yet, nigga.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Yeah, yeah. So they ain't out yet. But even then, still to answer the question. So, you know, a couple interviews that we've already done is with dirty boxing athletes. So we have talked to, you know, Jess, who is actually main eventing in Houston come this upcoming weekend. She is fighting next week on Friday, January 30th, which is going to be, you know, a nice fight. She's going to get against a girl named Paula Bencourt. As well, they have some heavyweight fighters that's in there that we spoke to. As well, we talked to a couple other athletes, man, that's from Houston, like what's her name, Killer B, you know, and she's gonna be making her debut at Dirty Boxing. And yeah, so being able to talk to these athletes, man, and seeing, you know, how they are maneuvering with a brand new promotion like Dirty Boxing, it seems like they loving it. They love the rule set there where because you don't have to grapple, right? They don't have to wrestle, anything of that nature. But it's a fun rule set where, yet again, it's everything hand-to-hand combat, right? So you can do spinning back fists, you can throw elbows, right? You can do everything, anything with the upper body, right? That's what you can throw. And if you knock your opponent down, you can also, you know, get a little bit of ground and pound in. But you know, a lot of people that, you know, getting tired of the wrestling and just the holding, right? Dirty boxing is that next wave.
Yeah, I think they got something going there, and then John Jones is behind it too. So I'd like to see where they're at like a year from now, 2 years from now. I think a lot of fans do kind of like fuck with it though, which is really difficult. A lot of these promotions have a hard time getting off the ground, but Dirty Boxing has like the cosign from all the fans. So I think they're gonna have some good things coming in the near future.
No, they got a big wave. And then, like you said, John Jones being behind it too is going to be extra, help.
Yeah.
Um, Having a person like Gable, Stevenson, right, going out there knocking dudes out, right, in dirty boxing when everybody see him as just a pure wrestler. I think it's a great starting point for guys that's really trying to get their feet wet and then learn how to strike. And I believe that dirty boxing, a lot of wrestlers can kind of transition over to dirty boxing because you still can clinch, right? You can
Mhm.
still dirty box, which is very important. But if you want to get used to being on your feet, I think dirty boxing is the way.
Yeah. Brian Battle had that nasty SKO. Did you see a member of the Nick Diaz team where Brian Battle dropped him and then homie thought that like it was paused for a second, but you can still hit him a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah,
when they're on
yeah.
the
I saw
ground. So
that. It
he hit
was
him dirty
crazy.
one
Yep.
time. Yeah.
And then is that the same one with the where you had the speech? All
Yeah,
right.
where he had that crazy ass speech
Yeah,
after
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to
Nah,
Brian
yes.
Battle. Now he's with PFL, if you didn't see that.
Okay, yeah. So that's a beautiful thing for him, right? And it seems like dirty boxing is not holding guys back from making opportunities and getting money. And because a lot of platforms, a lot of promotion that people will fight for, right? They'll try to keep their athletes where they at, and don't give you opportunity to kind of shop around. But just where the game is at, where you got PFL, you got karate combat, you got the one, you know what I'm saying, and now you got dirty boxing, there's avenues for fighters where you can, kind of work around, and get money. Oh shoot, and bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah, bare knuckle as well. Okay.
Mhm.
So speaking about you though, going back to our last conversation, lots of call outs. You've been out for a minute, you're still out, no announcement of a fight. Shavkat, I think he went ghost on us, at least on
Definitely
you.
went ghost.
But since then, you've been calling out Bilal and stuff like that. So I mean, what's the holdup? What's the word on when you're returning to the octagon?
I mean, be honest with you, to answer that question simply, I haven't gotten a call yet from the UFC of the names that I mentioned, right? So I called for the Shavkat fight. I haven't gotten word from the UFC to get that fight. I called out Bilal. I haven't gotten word from the UFC for that fight. So with that being said, it's just right now we just in the waiting game, and
Mhm.
I don't mind. I think right now, where the UFC is and having this major deal with, Paramount. Let me see how things get maneuvered in the way that they want to kind of, throw the events around. And for myself, I'm doing things outside of the octagon. Obviously, I'm staying in shape. Obviously, what I mean, I'm always preparing for a last minute call if I get that. But right now, I just really want to kind of, branch out and do different things, right? Like I said, I was on the Overdog podcast right now. Also, I'm developing more of the content, on my Instagram. We're gonna be doing lives, more consistently. And I truly believe that there is a position for me outside of the octagon besides just fighting the whole time. And of course, people want to see me fight, and I want to go out there and put on them bangers too. But at the end of the day, you can't force guys to step into the octagon. So whenever these guys get a little bit more confidence, we'll step back in there when the time is right.
Okay. And are you still like how about opponent wise and stuff like that? Are you becoming less picky as time goes on, or are you still like set on
That
certain opponents?
that's actually a great question, Jacob. When it comes to like a particular opponent, I don't want to just take any fight, right? But just the way the game is, you already know that inactivity is no good for nobody, right? So if we end up in a situation where, yet again, even myself, I'm just like, look, I'm not trying to wait on, Shah Khan. I'm not trying to wait on Bilal. I'm not trying to wait on JDM, right? Which JDM said or mentioned that he would fight me. I truly believe that I will just have to take, what is available, right? But with that being said, with Paramount being such a massive deal and being such a, incredible platform now that we get to fight on, why would I decide to fight somebody on, let's just be honest, right? On my old contract. Right, I'm looking to get a new deal. I really want to get a new deal. You know what I'm saying? In order for myself to see myself in a position where I'm able to work towards a world title, right? And it will only make sense if I'm not fighting of anybody of name caliber. That if I fight somebody down the rankings, that I should fight for a new deal, and that'd be my reward, right?
So you're saying if you fight lower in the rankings, so to speak, then you're hoping to sign a new deal after that fight, given a
No, no, no,
win,
no, they
or
don't
before it?
have to. Yeah,
Before
you
it.
gotta. Yeah, it don't make no sense. Yeah, sign it before. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. But
yeah.
regardless, or like if you get a good ass opponent, then you're probably just gonna sign that shit and negotiate later.
I mean, you always on the table to negotiate. I don't care what nobody say. You can negotiate after every fight, right?
Hmm.
Truthfully, right now, whether they gonna negotiate with you is a whole different story. But I truly believe that if I take a fight with somebody that doesn't have of any name value, and if really is not gonna push me besides just give me another fight, then I truly believe that I should work on getting another contract before I fight that individual.
Hmm.
Because I already know my capabilities and where how far I can go.
Okay, I got you. And
Mm.
speaking about that, obviously Gaethje just went viral for saying that he's not getting any extra money for his upcoming fight against Paddy Pimblett for the vacant lightweight title. So I think, it's going to be one of these things where the UFC isn't going to be extending these contract, um, these new deals to you guys. If anything, your management has to reach out and, you need to take matters into your own hands and personally ask for negotiations. Because clearly there wasn't this blanket like increase across the board where everybody's getting paid more,
Right,
kind of
right,
like
right,
DC insinuated. So
right, right,
I think
right,
you just
right.
got to
And
reach out and ask them. And I think they'll probably be willing to negotiate.
100%, right? But it's a
Hmm.
business at the end of the day, so I'm not mad at it. I truly believe that Justin Gaethje, out of all people, right, would be the one that is not very vocal because you really have been blessed by the UFC, right? And what do
Hmm.
I mean by that? Like Justin Gaethje, out of all his fights, right, they have all ended up with fight performance bonuses, right? He said, almost has 15 fights, and out of all those fights, has collected 14 bonuses, right? And he made the saying that, hey, it's sad that these 14 bonuses don't add up to $1 million, but they add up though. At the end of the day. And he spoke about his accountability about not spending his money wisely, but that's on you, right? So you got to take accountability for your actions and what you've done, but you can't say that the UFC hasn't been paying you, right? Because if anybody has been getting paid, it's been Justin Gaethje, and he has been able to be put himself in position where he's able fought for an interim title. You know what I'm saying? And fought on main events countlessly. You can't tell me you ain't made no money, just
Hmm.
right. But it is true in disparity that everybody might not see the benefits, right? Like everybody else, because at the end of the day, what do you bring to the company? How are you building your name? How are you making yourself exclusively somebody of a star power, right? And creating a niche for yourself where fans is only watching the event because of you. And that's one thing that I do want to remind fighters on. So when you negotiate, bring something to the table besides us just throwing our fists in our feet. How are we bringing more fans to the table? And that's one thing that I know that I'm bringing to the UFC. There is no argument that I'm one of the most watched outside of the Octagon, especially when it comes to my viral content. And that's what gives me room to negotiate with the UFC, right? But I cannot say for a fact that pay is not going to go up. I don't know that. You know what I mean? I'm not behind those closed doors, right? I can only assume. I can only assume because this business has been, in the green. And what do I mean by that? They've been making money from sponsorships, from streaming deals, right? From being bought from endeavors, I'm sure there is some money to hand out, right? So I can only assume that pay is only going to increase with all the different financial opportunities that come with being with the UFC.
Yeah. And I think those bonuses are going to go up too. I know that this one's going to be a special one. I think Dana agreed to like 350K bonuses for this event.
Oh,
But
he did.
hopefully, I think he
All
did.
right. Hey,
Gene
let's
Silva
keep him
pressed
there.
him.
I'm
Yeah,
still a little salty that they stopped him as soon as it got to my event,
I
because
know, right?
when they made it the 300, right?
Yeah.
I did my call out in St. Louis and everything of that nature, right? But it was right after I think Bilal and Leon, they had fought each other, right? And Bilal ended up taking Leon belt. That's when that's when Dana was like, yeah, it seems like 300K ain't gonna make nobody fight hard. Shit, that make me fight hard.
I know. Dana loves that narrative, though. It's like, bro, come on. These guys are going to fight even harder for 300K. So bump up the bonuses in general
So,
after this fight. Bump it up to six figures at the very least, in my opinion.
I agree
100K.
with you, but hold on. So yet again, right? And it ain't me trying to be buddies with Dana. I'm just telling my honest truth. Money is not gonna make guys fight harder. Certain people, right? Um, it depends on what your drive is as a fighter, and it depends on what your motivation is as a fighter, right? And sometimes money is not the option for some guys. Some guys just like to be under the lights. Some guys just want to be seen as a winner, and that's where the motivation comes from. My pure motivation on why I became a fighter is strictly financial, right? Was to change my life, to change, the outcome of what my grandmother is dealing with, right? And like I told you before, with her having Gehrig's disease, I have my auntie that's taking care of her 24/7, and to be honest with you, right, I can't afford a full, person to come in and nurse for my grandmother right now, and it takes a lot of money to do that, brother, right? So with that being said, I'm the type of person that is motivated. If you put some money on the floor, I'm going to get it, you know. But yeah, certain fighters out there, and yet again, you put 300K on the line, and guys will still try to go to a decision with that. And it's sad to say that, but yeah, sometimes money doesn't motivate a fighter to fight, and that's
I
the
feel
to
you.
be honest.
That is true. But hopefully those guys don't ruin it for guys like you,
Yeah,
right?
100%
Yeah, yeah.
right.
Hey, speaking of your aunt and your grandma, real quick. Hopefully
Yeah,
your grandma's doing well and stuff. But is there a way where she could like get employed by the state to take care of your grandma, so she gets
yeah.
paid
So
instead of
we
like you
working.
guys have? Yeah.
Yeah, we working towards that.
Okay.
The laws, man, a lot of stuff been going on since Trump been in, So
Okay.
with that being said, we just waiting, right? Until somebody reaches back out to us because we've been filling out forms and everything, man, to try to get my auntie, what the services that she's giving my grandmother for her to get paid through the state,
Right.
right?
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. So you guys
And
are on that already.
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
because I think it's good money too.
It's decent,
Yeah,
better than
it's
that.
something.
Right now it's
Yeah.
coming out of my pocket.
Right, right. Okay. And now just going back to you being out and stuff, there's a few questions I have. I've always been doing these live streams as of late, so a lot of fans, they know we have a relationship. They ask me questions about you, so I figure I'll relay it to you because I was like, listen, I don't even know how to answer this one. But fans think that you should be a bit more active, right?
As a
And
fighter,
as
active?
a fighter, yeah, as a
Okay.
fighter, just over the last 6 months, basically. Obviously, you've been active before that. I guess
Yeah.
my question is like, what do you think is a reason for this inactivity? Because there is a narrative out there that once fighters enter the rankings, things start to slow down for them. Other people think, once you start getting paid more, these fights start to slow down as well. When you're unranked, when you're getting paid less, the UFC can just book you every week.
Right,
So,
right.
what's your opinion on why you've been out for so long? Like, what's the holdup on even like booking you?
Well, we literally just spoke about it. Somebody got to accept the fight, right? And when the UFC reaches out to us, they give us the option whether we can take it or we don't want it, right? So a lot of things that happen during the inactivity part is because fighters just don't want to fight,
And there's
and when
only
you
like
get it.
14 that you can choose from, right?
Exactly. Now, unless
Yeah.
you just want to take the Kevin Holland route, right?
Right,
You just
right.
down to fight anybody at any given time. It doesn't matter, right? Kevin Holland makes good money for him to make that an option. For me, I'm still in the realm where, yet again, it's not picking and choosing, but I want to have the best fight where most people are attracted to and that are really feel invested to watch, right? Because once they do that, I can be able to tell the UFC, look how big of impact that and the influence that I was able to create in order for people to tune in, right? So that's why I'm always like, let me get this guy, let me get that guy, right? Instead of just some random guy from wherever the hell he could be from. But the inactivity part, that's not on my end. When the UFC calls, I'm definitely always open to get a fight. But at the end of the day, you can't force these guys to step into the octagon. So, at the end of the day, we just gonna be patient, and that day that I do come back, oh, be ready and be prepared, right? Because obviously with that weight I've been on, I've been able just to train and just be able to work on my tool sets, right? So I've been able to work on my wrestling. I've been able to work on, finishing guys on the ground, and working on submissions and working on my leg locks. I don't even know. I got locks coming into the game,
Damn.
right? So Bucker Madoff is really on his way. But I truly believe that once I do come back and step into the octagon, the reason why the anticipation for people to watch me fight is going to be so great is because they had to wait so long for a great product to be seen again.
Okay. And then speaking about Bucko Madoff, you went live recently and you said you want a Russian next. You want one of these 50-50
Yeah.
fights, a fight that they
Yeah.
think you could lose, right? To prove your
Right.
medal
Right.
in there. As long
100%.
as it got a DOV at the end, you're
That's all that
down.
matters.
If I come back, it gotta be something big. It gotta be something special. I like the idea that if I fight, I want people to really understand, like, hey, this is a matchup that Buckley can potentially lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, Buckley ain't taking no easy fight, right? Because everybody wanna have me come back and fight somebody that, a little tune-up fight. I ain't really about that. So I really want to make a shout out since I'm out here right now. I'm out here in the cold. Shit, they talk about these Russian boys, right? Training in the cold, you know what I'm saying? Hitting the heels hard. Man, I might jump out in that little, you know what I'm saying? Out that little lake, you hear me? That little fountain. I might go out in that little fountain, man, and get my little swim on. But I want all Russians. Right now the Russians are taking over. The Russians doing their thing, right? And they really became a dominant force yet again. Whether you talk about Islam, whether you talk about Hamzat, now Peter Yan, you got Magomed up there too. I want a Russian boy for my next fight. I don't care what the name is. Just give me a Russian guy, because I really want to show that I'm the next American champion that's on his way, Bucko Madoff is a movement, baby. Bucko Madoff is a real thing, And I just want to show them boys ain't like that. Them boys ain't never had to struggle for the shit that I had to work for. You see, there ain't nobody out here with me, man. It's just me, Don't get it twisted, motherfucker. I got a team. But my team got 9 to 5s, motherfucker. They got jobs to do. You hear me? But these guys, they get sponsored by they, where they at. They get taken care of, which is whatever. You know what I mean? I can't put that blame on them. It'd be nice if I had the same opportunities, but I don't. But that's why ain't nobody gonna beat me upcoming now in 2026. I done worked too hard, man. I done worked too goddamn hard, bro. So yeah, man, I want me a Russian, bro. What's up, y'all? What's up? I see the names. Y'all shouting out some good names. Like I said, man, as long as that last name got a DOV, a little DOV behind it, we good. Put me in there.
That's
The
all that
only
matters.
issue with that is that there's not very many guys at welterweight with a DOV at the end. I think the only one is like fucking Shavkat. And what I was saying after that is I was like, bro, Shavkat, take the damn fight, bro. This is the fight. This is the fight to make. But, just speaking on that, your recent live and stuff and wanting a Russian. Is
Oh
it
yeah.
pretty much
Well,
just Shavkat then?
nah. I mean, no. You got the dude that. Well, I don't know if he.
Shara?
No, he's
Shara?
180. No, he's
He's
185.
middleweight. But I
Yeah,
saw
he's
them
middleweight.
dropping that name. They're also
No,
saying
so
MVP. They want to see you fight MVP and shit. He not
yeah,
Russian
that's
though.
fine. Yeah, no. Nah, it gotta be a grappler. I want somebody that, yet again, what people think is my weakness, right? I want people to really believe or understand that it's levels to everything, right? I don't believe that these guys who come from that area of the world are the best wrestlers or the best grapplers, right? Even with Hamzat, beating Usman. I feel like Usman at the time, just got caught by surprise by how strong Hamzat was in the first round. But after he got used to it a little bit, he's like, shit, this ain't nothing new. And every
Mm-hmm.
shot that Hamzat attempted, he failed eventually, right? Everything got stuffed, right? So with that being said, I truly believe that American wrestling is always going to be the best, and truly going up against a Russian and beating them at what they're good at. Truly is going to put me back into that, world champion conversation. And I truly believe that it doesn't have to be a person like Islam. It doesn't have to be a person like Shaka. It just has to be a person from that region and a person that fights in that type of style for people to understand. So with that name, right? And I don't know if he's Russian, but he's from over there. It don't even matter. The dude that beat Neil Magny.
Mm. Not
Perfect.
not Fakhretdinov, right?
No, they cut him. They cut
Yeah,
him.
they cut him.
Amovsov.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay.
So yeah. So
Okay.
that
Yaroslav Amosov.
yeah, that'd be fun. That'll be fun. Like on the White House card, me and him, it'd be fun. That'd be fun. Because yet again, storylines is everything, right? And I don't know much about him. He fought in Bellator. He was a world champion, right? When he fought for Bellator, he only has one loss in his career. But you seen what he did to Neil Magny. Took him out in the first round,
Submitted
choked him
him.
out. Exactly, submitted him. I think that's a good name, And then especially if I'm inactive and these guys don't want to fight me, let me get a person like that, right? But at the same time, right, if I'm blessing him with the opportunity to fight somebody that's ranked, highly ranked too at that, because Neil Magny wasn't ranked at the time. If I'm blessing you to get this ranked fight, I feel like I need to be blessed with a new contract.
Okay.
That's just, I
Hopefully,
mean, just fair. That's just fair,
yeah,
right?
just keeping it real on your end.
Hmm.
Hopefully he's not booked yet because I think he was like hinting at he got a fight going, and then people were DMing me being like, "Yo, is that Buck who's like booked up against him?" And I was like, "I haven't
Okay.
heard anything." You know what I
Okay.
mean?
We'll see. We'll
So
see.
yeah, hopefully he's still available because that would be a great fight. And he's a former world champion as well.
Yep.
He lost to Jason Jackson. Did you know that?
Yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
one loss, Jason Jackson.
Yeah.
Did you see that fight by chance?
Yeah.
Okay. Any thoughts on that fight?
Nah.
Nah, no thoughts. You just
Yeah,
like
but
that fight right there.
we watched it though. It was a good
Okay.
fight. It was a good fight.
Yeah, I don't know if it was if he was like injured going into it, but it wasn't the best performance on his end. Jason Jackson looked really good in that fight.
100%.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Okay.
Jason Jackson.
Yeah, Yaroslav Amosov versus you though. I mean, that's good money right there. That's great
100%.
money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then speaking about like some of the other stuff going on in the welterweight division, did you happen to see Michael Morales and his whole record drama recently?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
How deeply did you look into it?
Not that deep.
Not that deep.
I
Okay.
saw it. I was like, oh, that's crazy. You're right. He got choked out. Ass up, face down. You never want to be in that position. You know what I'm saying? So the video went viral once people got wind of it. But I don't understand why they didn't count it as a loss. And why they put it on her in the first place and then took it off again. So like that's what, and I'm not gonna do no deep research on that part, right? At the end of the day, it's something that did happen in his career, whether it was amateur, whether what I'm saying, it was an early pro fight, or exhibition as they might call it. It's something that didn't happen. And I think there's a lot of fighters that can still look at that and be like, oh, okay, has anybody took Morales there again? And try to expose that hole that already been shown right in his loss. So that's the only thing that I can take out of that moment for Michael
Okay.
Morales. Mm-hmm.
Got you. Yeah, I mean, it was one of those where it's kind of a confusing one because I get what Tapology was saying, where like we just want to make a blanket statement like these reality show fights, they're going to be counted on your pro record. But the odd thing about that one is that Michael had never debuted pro. He just joined that show like raw, like no pro fights yet. But the guy he fought was already pro. So I think that's where some of that confusion was, is like you got these guys who never even turned pro on the show, and then you have these pro fighters on the show. And so they counted it as an exhibition initially, but then they, counted it as a loss and then took it back. I think it was the right decision to take it back, to be honest.
If that's the case, then yeah,
Yeah, because he had
especially
no
if
pro
people.
fights before that.
Okay. So they were just trying to set up guys. You know what I'm saying? That's all that
Right.
was.
Yeah. But how about the New Year's celebration? We're in the big 26 now. But Michael Morales, of course, once again goes viral for his
living his
for his
life.
New
Boy,
Year's
that boy living his best
celebration.
life, I see. Yeah. So
Yeah.
hopefully he walking into 2026 himself, as a free man or one man, however you want to say it. And really going into, there's reality of things, right? They call it just a culture thing, but I really think Morales, he like that, man. It's been too many videos, man, too many things that's out there, bro. Like it's just, man, just live in your truth, bro. Just live in your truth, man. Ain't nobody gonna fight you about it. You got a strong community behind you. It's gonna make you a bigger star, and if you continue to go down this road where you could be the first one, right? Well, Amanda was the first one, but the first male, to become a world champion that be on that other side. So I ain't even mad at him. Go
The
ahead.
only thing for me in that video, I was like, damn, Michael's really the only dude in this video, like really getting after. Like he really leaning into it. There was plenty of dudes on that party bus, but Michael Morales was leaning
Oh,
into
you was
it,
really
bro.
dissecting that video, huh, Jacob? That's
I was
crazy.
watching, I'm like, damn, Michael's the only one fucking shaking his booty.
Throw
But
them
shout
ones
out
on
to
buddy.
fucking Michael.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like I
Yeah.
said, look, I'm always pro be yourself. Always. I don't care how uncomfortable it makes others. Always be you at all given times. My thing is don't be unafraid to speak your truth and be who you are, because at the end of the day, you're all you got.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I think it's cultural too. So, for us Americans, we might be like, damn, thinking a little bit something about it. But over where he's from, I think it's normal. They find it funny and shit. So it's probably no big
Yeah,
deal over
I
there.
had a lot. I had a lot of females on my comment section, right? And some baddies too. I ain't gonna lie, some baddies. So I can't really understand the language, right? What they speak Portuguese, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
So
They're from Ecuador, maybe like a
Oh yeah,
Spanish
Ecuadorian, right?
dialect.
Okay, all right. So Spanish.
Yeah.
So I look at it right, and I hit the translate just to see what they saying, and they was just like bash me, like "F you, you don't know about our culture."
See what I
But
mean? See what I
these
mean?
these are all females though. Like it's not
Okay.
one dude that backed his ass up though. It was all females though, and but like yet again, bro, I didn't even take a pro. It was just a funny video, right? Funny video, you know what I'm saying? Just making fun of the moment and going about my business. I don't care what the fuck Michael Morales do, you know what I'm saying, on his day off, you know what I'm saying, when he step out of the octagon, right? But I am going to use this as content to work towards another fight because let's say Michael Morales does take it personal. That's another fight then, right? Like everything that we do is towards getting another, big banger for ourselves, So if anybody feels some type of way about it, yet again, we're in a perfect business where we can show up and show out for it.
hmm Got you. Okay, and then speaking about another big thing that kind of happened since we last spoke was this Anthony Joshua car crash. But even before that, I want to ask you a question. Because I had a pretty opinionated take on this, so maybe we'll differ, maybe we'll be the same. But I figure this will be a good conversation. Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, and then we'll work into Anthony Joshua's car crash. But Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, what did you make of that fight? I was pretty critical of Jake. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I can explain it to you if you want, but.
What did I think of the fight? Is like every other fight, right? When Jake Paul gets into a situation where he's setting up for these massive events for himself, we always are thrilled to see the expectation of him getting knocked out, right? That's what we always want to see, regardless of who he's fighting, right? Even when he was fighting, Tyrone Woodley, or when he was fighting Anderson Silva, or when he fought, Diaz, like we was all praying, like, hey, they're gonna be the ones to do it, right? They're gonna be our saviors and knock him out, right? And it wasn't until he got a fight with a person like not Jake Paul, like Anthony Joshua, where we just knew, like, okay, this got to be the end, right? Like
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua has to be the person to put all this to a stop, And getting into the fight and watching it, right? For me, Jake Paul being able to survive as many rounds that he survived, I thought very critical of Anthony Joshua on like how he not able to take this guy out in 2 rounds, right? Like being a gold medalist, right? Olympian, being a world champion heavyweight boxer, right? Being in there with a person like Usyk, right? Being in there with people like what's his name? Big black dude.
Dubois.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? And still being able to get like certain wins. How was he not able to take this dude out, right? Early. But realizing that, Jake Paul was doing everything in his power to try to survive, hug, fall into takedowns, right?
It's
Double leg,
crazy.
I had to just be honest, right? Like it's not easy to finish somebody that is constantly trying to run away, right? Constantly trying to fall in positions where, yet again, you cannot get a good shot off like you really want to, right? And eventually, Anthony Joshua did his job and broke Jake Paul's jaw, right? Split it in two, maybe to the possibility where Jake Paul can never box again, you know? And with all that being said, I just believe that the expectation that I had for Anthony Joshua was just a little bit out of this world, you know, because at the end of the day, Jake Paul has been training and has been very proficient, right, with his skill set when it came to other fighters, right? So I can't make it seem as if he's just some average Joe off the street, right? Because if it was some average Joe off the street, then Anthony Joshua would have took him out in 2 rounds,
Right.
right? So, with my take on that, Anthony Joshua did his job that night, period.
Okay, so I guess let me share some of my thoughts about it because we're almost opposite. You said you're like overly like confident or something like that, or critical in AJ. And
I
I feel like,
was overly critical.
and
You remember that? Well, I don't know if you saw the post that I made.
what did you say exactly? I
So
think
I
I might
mean,
have missed it.
no. I said I was proud of Jake. You know what I'm saying? For being able to last 8 rounds, which is crazy,
Uh-huh.
right? But I was mad at Anthony Joshua on like, how could you not have gotten this person out of here, right? I felt like he wasted our time of us watching that, right? That
Right.
nonsense, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he got the job done,
He
right?
got the job done.
And he was able to get to a point where once Jake Paul slowed down or lost energy or stopped shooting takedowns and trying to get a double leg on him, he was able to catch his shot. And that one shot was able to put, Jake Paul down for the count.
Right. And I think you're saying you were overly critical because you believed a lot in Anthony Joshua to get the job
Yes.
done. And same thing with me, but with Jake. I was overly critical. Not that I thought Jake was going to win, but because, in my opinion, bro, you cannot step up into a fight like that, make that type of money, and just fight on some bullshit. And then the second you get hit hard, you go down. We could talk about the broken jaw and all that stuff. I would love to get your thoughts on it. But that's where I was on Jake. What I've been saying, just to keep it pretty simple, is like, if you're going to get paid that type of money and talk yourself into an Anthony Joshua fight, like, you need to be like on your Mike Tyson shit and be crawling on the canvas, grabbing that mouthpiece, trying to continue.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, otherwise,
Yeah.
don't waste everybody's time. Because you just said, you felt like AJ almost wasted people's time. That's how I feel like Jake wasted people's time. Because, like, you speak of yourself in this high caliber, you finally get people to co-sign you that, okay, maybe
Right.
you're legit.
Right.
Then you oversell yourself. Now you're in here with fucking AJ, and the least you could have done is fight your heart out, which you didn't do from even the start of the first round.
And
And
that's
then the
100.
first time you get hit hard, you go
Yeah.
down. And then I gotta say this. You make a face. I mean, that's my thing too. What real fighter like yourself, right? Are you gonna stop a fight if you can make a face like Jake Paul, or are you gonna try to continue like a warrior?
100%, right? I tell guys all the time, right? You know what I mean? If regardless if I'm losing, right, I'm gonna bite down on that mouthpiece, bro, and I'm gonna swing my heart out. And even if I get knocked out, at least I get knocked out swinging, right? I'm never gonna get knocked out because I'm cowering or I'm falling back,
Or
right?
because it
And
hurt
I'm
you too bad out of
right,
pain?
whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
conceding to the loss, right? Like I'm giving up, I'm forfeiting. So with that being said, no, I would never made that decision, you know what I'm saying? Because yet again, like, even with that money being on the line, it's pride, right? It's ego. Like, nah, fuck that. Like, he dropped me, I gotta get mine back. But with Jake Paul, right, it's the entertainment business for him. I'm not saying he didn't take it serious. He did take this fight serious. But he found out that night is levels to it, right? And not only levels to it, it's weight classes for a reason. And with Jake Paul, just understanding that, when he was out there, the reality is, bro, you can die doing this, man. And for him, like you said, joking about it and laughing about it, like, don't get into boxing or don't get into any combat sport if you're not going to be serious about it, right? Because at the end of the day, these injuries can be serious, you know what I mean, and fatal. Just keep it real, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, when you step out there, you got to realize, you know what I mean, the price that you could pay when you step out there in that ring.
Right. And yeah, that laughing really pissed me off. And the last thing I'll say is that, you know, yes, he broke his jaw, but did he get his jaw wired shut? No. But Jake's out here flexing, and that's the other thing I found cringe is like Jake's flexing that he broke his jaw. What about Colby Covington when people thought that he broke his jaw against Usman, and he even said it in his corner, right? I don't know if you know all those details, but in the corner he kind of announced like, my jaw's broken, I think. So people were asking him after the fight, like, yo, did Usman break your jaw? And Colby never admitted to it, right? And I feel like that's the real warrior spirit, because you're going to step back in that octagon, in that ring, and you don't want to give your opponents any advantage. You don't want anyone to know that you broke your jaw. Even Devin Haney, still to this day, denies that Ryan Garcia broke his jaw. Real fighters. And so with Jake not getting his jaw wired shut and then also just flexing to the max, like, oh, I broke my jaw, I broke my jaw, I broke my jaw. It's like, I don't know, man. That shit rubs me the wrong way, like, completely. I don't know how you feel about that, but for me,
I
it
mean,
pisses me off low-key.
at the end of the day, they got their check. They got
Shit,
their
you
money,
owe
right?
Netflix money, bro. You owe not you, but fucking Jake,
Yeah,
bro. Like, come on, bro. You owe Netflix money for that. Right behind
Yeah.
Mayweather Pacquiao for
Yeah,
like the most
but
paid of all time.
and
And you fight
I
like
don't
that.
know. I mean, they might do it, but for me, I know that I'm not gonna watch another Jake Paul boxing fight. I'm not. right?
Go fight. Do you think he should fight like a cruiserweight and shit like that at this point? Like stop with the
To me,
gimmicks,
period. I'm not
try to
watching the
become a
box.
champion. Oh,
I'm
you're
not
just
watching.
done with it, period.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know what I
So it
mean?
left that bad of a taste in your mouth.
No Diddy, but yeah.
No Diddy. Okay.
But
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, I know you got somewhere to go in a little bit, so let me wrap it up with a few other questions.
Here,
And
let's keep it on the boxing and the Zuffa. Let's talk about that.
okay,
Dana
boxing and
White.
Zuffa, right? You said recently Dana's gonna have to make stars with his boxers by using you guys. Dana got asked that at the press conference, so it's good timing that we clipped that off the day
Yeah,
that we did. But Dana says basically fuck no. And he's been like that for a minute. So,
100%.
you got a response to Dana again or what?
I definitely got a response for him. Why not? Why not? Right? Like, it's not a bad idea. It's not stupid as he mentioned, right? Or it doesn't make sense. Like it makes perfect sense. You see what RAF is doing right now and trying to help build their wrestlers, right? They bringing in people like myself, Bilal Muhammad, Armin, Sarukian, right? And allowing us to wrestle their athletes to help build a bigger brand, right? To bring the UFC fans in and watch. And I truly believe that we got guys in the UFC that are just as talented as the boxers that they might have at Zuffa Boxing. So it's not going to be just a one-sided affair, right? Where you got these boxers just pretty much demolishing, you know what I'm saying, MMA guys. Because even with Jake Paul, using him as an example, and I don't even see Jake Paul being the best boxer, right? But you see him knock out Tyron Woodley. You see him drop Anderson Silva. You see him drop Diaz, right? And knock out Ben Askren, right? Yes, he did those things. But at the end of the day, these guys, in my personal opinion, aren't the people that I would choose, right, to go out there and box. Guys that I would look at that could do a great job is a Pereira, right? Ilya Topuria. What's another good name that I can give? Oh yeah, a Jared Cannonier could do a great job at boxing. Jalen Turner could do a good job at boxing. JDM could do a good job at boxing, right? If you're talking about just the pure art of hand combat, right? And with myself, just understanding like the skill sets that certain guys must possess, whether that's with hand combinations or whether that's with the footwork, right? Yes, there are a lot of MMA guys that would not do a good job, but you can't say nobody. You can't say nobody, And I truly believe the names that I mentioned could possibly get wins in the Zuffa boxing promotion. Truthfully.
Okay. And why do you think you might have already given that answer, but sorry if I missed it. But why do you think Dana is like against it? Like what would be the problem? Like what do you think is his red flag and like not wanting to and being opposed to it?
That question gonna have to be asked to Dana, right?
You
Because I
don't
don't
got
know
an
what's
idea.
right.
Yeah.
Well, even if I had an idea, it don't make it right, right? Don't make it
But
true.
what would be your
So,
speculation if you have one?
if I had one, right, I just truly believe that Dana believes right with I can't even say money. I truly believe that he wants fighters to remain where they are, right? He don't want guys bouncing around from, doing boxing and doing wrestling. Like, if you're a UFC fighter, you should be doing UFC. If you're a boxer, you should be doing boxing. If you're a wrestler, you should be doing wrestling. So as a right there, like I believe that he feels as if athletes in the combat field should remain where they are, right?
Not
And it
take
should be
damage elsewhere.
exactly,
Yeah.
and that'd be my opinion. But only Dana can answer that a little bit more deeper, which I would love for somebody to ask him that question. You know what I'm saying? Why would you not allow UFC fighters to come into the boxing space where they can help and not hurt the promotion?
And I guess last thing on this topic would be like, do you think he would be opposed to? I mean, I guess he probably would be because he'd rather you guys take the damage in the UFC where you're originally signed. But I mean, yeah, it would be kind of fun to see maybe like you versus another UFC fighter in Zuffa boxing or something. But
Right. And
yeah,
even if you don't want to make it like that, which I understand it, like, well, if I got two of my UFC fighters boxing, why can I just not have them in the UFC doing that? Right?
I get it.
So, okay, let me get back into right. Look, let me prove to Dana that I can box, right? Because a lot of people don't understand that when you're boxing competitively, right, the sparring is the same. is exact same, right? The only thing that changed is the size of the gloves, right? Or if you got headgear, you know. But other than that, the skills and the techniques that you're doing and that you are pretty much expressing out there in sparring is the same thing that you will reflect in the competition. And I'm gonna shout this out right now. The one that is on the main event, Kalen Wash, I love to get some work in with you, buddy. Right? Right after you win your fight, I do believe that he's gonna win this upcoming weekend. Let's get some work in, right? And let me show Dana who this guy that he's been being able to promote this whole time, which is Caleb, that I can work with him too, and that he's not as great as he likes to portray. And I truly believe that I'm a better boxer than him.
When you say get work in, you mean like spar each
Sparring.
other?
Yep, spar.
Okay.
Yep,
Like legit at the PI or something?
that'd be dope. Yeah.
Yeah, like a real like something where you could do it in front of Dana or something like that.
Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
we don't have to broadcast it to the world. We just get some work in. At the end of the day, it's all good work. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Well then, yeah, he's fighting tonight, or he's fighting in a couple hours. He's gonna be headlining that Zuffa boxing.
Oh,
They're
a
having their
couple hours.
first
Okay.
yeah, they're having
Bet.
their first event today, so check it out if you got some time after
Bet.
overdogs maybe. Okay, so I got pretty much two more for you, and then we can wrap up. But I figured, this is kind of like a cultural topic in MMA, so I figure I will kind of bring it to you. You're probably one of the better people to ask about it, but it's this whole like UFC fighters saying the N-word and they're white. Sean Strickland, no, just
Yeah.
genuinely though, right? Genuinely, like Sean Strickland, he did it in front of Rampage. You did leave a
Mhm.
comment and you said, like, because just to give people the context, Rampage didn't call him out for it, right? And then I think he essentially said, like, anyone can say it. And then so you responded, you commented, and you said, Sean Strickland, you're not slick. I know what you're trying to do, but chill out because the real N-words got to stand on business at UFC. Not only Sean, but Marvin Vettori, you guys have gone back and forth in the past because Marvin says it. Armand was on Aiden Ross's stream, and there's a language barrier, but Armand even
Ain't no
dropped
language,
it.
bro.
Armand even dropped it. I think
Yeah.
he was reading a comment or something, but people seem to think it's like
That's what
funny.
right,
What's your opinion on this whole thing?
right,
In Marvin and Strickland thinking
right.
it's okay to say.
So I mean, at the end of the day, as grown men, you can say whatever you want to, right? But I believe that the reason why they say it is because they feel as if there isn't going to be no repercussions that's going to happen, right? There's no consequences to their actions, right? And at the end of the day, when we're at a fight promotion that very is exclusive to being open to say what you want, right? The freedom of speech and all this other stuff like that. Like the UFC is not going to take action, except for when certain guys talk about certain people, And with that being said, for myself, it's just like you can do it in the comfort on the camera or online, but do it to my face, right? But you're not gonna get me to act out of character, But we gonna break this down a little bit more on why you feel so expressive to use that word, right? When at the end of the day, this has not been something that you had to deal with when you get pulled over by the police, right? Or when you've been treated as if you're second class, you know what I mean? Or as if actually you're not a human being. Forget second class, treat it as if you're not even a human being. And a lot of people don't realize, like, even when we say the word, right, we just expressing as unity together, right? Because of the things that we had to go through throughout time. But this ain't no crybaby, you know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, Sean Strickland used it, ooh, so I'm gonna cry about it. But no, but my thing is the real question, like, why are you so comfortable with using the word, right? And then why do you only use it, you know what I mean, around certain people? Because you feel like you can get away with it with them, right? So it's not that you bold enough to say it around whoever. I don't believe that. And it's just the God honest truth is that a lot of guys only use that word when they feel comfortable around certain spaces. And that's the true reason, right? So that's where we're gonna keep it a buck at, But do that stuff around, I guess a perfect example, right? Like if Chris Curtis, right, is around and Sean Strickland. Is Sean Strickland just dropping the N word around Chris Curtis? Because I thought they was boys. I thought they was home.
Well, probably not because he knows Chris is going to call him out.
He definitely gonna call him out for that, right? And it's just at the end of the day, it's just like if you got respect for somebody that is a person of color, you know what I'm saying, that is so-called your friend, I got a black friend, right? Type shit, right? Then you not gonna drop that word like that, and express that to, be funny or just to be disrespectful. Because when he did that in front of Rampage should have said something right then and there. But at the end of the day, everybody wants that reaction out of you. That's why he said it. That's why
Is that
Sean
what you
Strickland
meant
said it.
when you said, "I know what you're trying to do"? Is that what you
Yeah.
meant when you said
Yeah,
that?
you want, because Rampage old. Like, love Rampage, he old. Like, what is Rampage really gonna do? Like, you know what I'm saying? He just gonna start squabbling up with Sean Strickland right there, right? Like, that's not finna happen, Because if anything, like I said, I'm rocking with OGs. I ain't finna fight you. I'm not finna fight you, right? We're gonna take it somewhere else. But yet again, is it worth it? Because you said a word. No, it's not. But you're not finna just be blatantly disrespectful to me either, though.
Mm-hmm. So you're not even insinuating that you would have like got all up in Sean's face and started fighting him.
No,
but you would have pressed him and asked him about why he feels like he's comfortable to say that in front of you.
Like, explain yourself. Yes, explain yourself. Break that down. Break that down to the world for me.
Okay, I got you. And do you think he would have said that in front of you? Just a genuine question.
Matter of fact, I would love to see it.
You would love to see it.
Because at the end of the day, if you do it, now you really just trying to be disrespectful, right? After all the stuff that we already said, right? And how you come. Perfect example. And this his friend, this his homie, right? Like, me and Sean cool, but we ain't cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see him around PI. I went to Extreme Couture and all this stuff. But somebody that he calls a friend and a brother with Chris Curtis with the whole Kyle Rittenhouse. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw it.
Right? But it's not that you brought a person in, you know what I'm saying, to, whatever, to represent whatever little culture that y'all trying to represent, right? But it's the fact that you knew it was going to bother Chris. So now you using that as a active attack on Chris, who is your friend, to be like, let me get a reaction out of him, right? This is going to be funny. This is going to be hilarious, knowing that's actually affecting him in real life, right? Now, do I agree with Chris and all this other stuff? Nah, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't even care about the whole Kyle Rittenhouse situation and what he did, right? But you, as a friend who's supposed to care about your brother, supposed to be the godfather of his kids, I believe. I
think so. Yeah, I think so.
Right? You playing with him. As a man, you playing with him, right? You playing on his respect, right? I just don't mess with guys like that, And then when you speak about your authenticity and just you keeping it real and keeping it in the buck, I'm seeing two different Sean Stricklands at the end of the day.
I got you.
Do you respect your friend or do you not?
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I think that's fair.
It's 100.
Okay. And just to kind of conclude this topic, like the whole thing with you and Marvin, I did forget to ask you about it in the last interview, so I just want to ask again, like, that whole thing did go kind of crazy. Marvin been through some trauma in his life as of late. But I'm just asking, like, you guys still pissed at each other, or like, what's the deal with that whole thing?
Like I said, I haven't heard nothing from Marvin since then. And I said and I expressed myself the way I expressed myself, and it just is what it is. But like I said, if we really want to make something happen, yet again, we all have the opportunity to reach out to the greatest organization in the planet, right? Which is the UFC, and we can get busy. But I don't see Marvin going towards that direction. I don't see Marvin coming out and expressing himself like he did on Twitter, right? And so there's no need for me to keep energy towards a thing that don't even exist.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, I got you.
All right,
but yeah,
appreciate
thanks
you
for the time as always, and we're waiting on that announcement. UFC announced that shit ASAP. He just gave a new call out, Yaroslav Amosov.
Come on now.
That's good money right there.
I'll be doing a matchmaker job, don't I?
I mean, Bilal, Shavkat, Yaroslav, just give it one of these guys. Come on now, he's making it easy.
100%.